How do food companies advertise to stipulate food cravings? Food companies use a variety of psychological and marketing strategies to trigger cravings and influence consumer behavior. Here's how they do it. 1. Sensory appeal. Visual cues. Advertisements are designed to show food in its most appetizing form: vivid colors, perfect textures, and steam rising from hot dishes. Sound effects. The crisp sound of biting into a chip or the sizzle of food cooking can activate sensory triggers in the brain. Texture descriptions, words like crispy, creamy, or juicy, are often used to stimulate the idea of a pleasant mouthfeel. 2. Emotional triggers. Nostalgia and comfort. Ads often link food to memories or comfort, associating a product with family gatherings, holidays, or personal indulgence. Happiness and social connection. Marketing frequently connects eating a particular food with joy, social bonding, or celebrations. 3. Flavor pairing. Companies combine flavors that are scientifically known to stimulate cravings, such as the bliss point, a perfect balance of sugar, salt, and fat that is engineered to make foods addictive. 4. Portion control imagery. By showing small, snack-sized portions, ads suggest it's easy to indulge without guilt. This can lead consumers to crave and buy more frequently. 5. Convenience and accessibility. Ads emphasize how easy it is to access or prepare the food, playing on modern lifestyles where convenience is key. This can lead to impulse cravings, as consumers are reminded they can satisfy their hunger instantly. 6. Targeting specific times. Companies often run ads at strategic times, late night, for instance, when people are more prone to snack. This creates time-based cravings. 7. Influencers and social proof. By using celebrities or influencers, companies increase the appeal of their food. Seeing someone admired enjoying a particular food can stir a desire to replicate that experience. 8. Repetition and familiarity. Constant exposure to a brand through ads, social media, and packaging builds familiarity, making it easier for people to crave and choose that brand when they're hungry. 9. Limited time offers. Companies often use limited time products or seasonal specials, for example, pumpkin spice, to create a sense of urgency, making consumers crave them before they're gone. These strategies, combined with our natural psychological and biological responses, make food advertising highly effective in stimulating cravings. How does this create that feeling in us that we cannot stop eating? The feeling of not being able to stop eating, especially with certain highly processed foods, is the result of a combination of biological, psychological, and sensory factors. Here's how these mechanisms work together. 1. The bliss point. Food scientists design processed foods to hit the bliss point, a precise combination of sugar, fat, and salt that creates maximum pleasure. This perfect balance stimulates the brain's reward system, releasing dopamine, the chemical associated with pleasure and reward. The more dopamine that is released, the more you crave the food, even after you've had enough to eat. Sugar activates the brain's reward center, causing a temporary mood boost. Over time, the body can develop a dependency on these pleasurable experiences. Fat adds a satisfying, rich texture that encourages overeating because it is dense in calories. Salt enhances flavor and encourages you to keep reaching for more. 2. Hyper-palatable foods. Processed foods are engineered to be hyper-palatable by being packed with taste enhancers, artificial flavors, and additives that make them taste better than natural foods. This encourages you to keep eating, as the body struggles to sense when it's had enough. Natural foods like fruits and vegetables have built-in signals, like fiber or water content, that make you feel full, but hyper-palatable foods bypass these signals, delaying satiety. 3. Dopamine and reward pathways. Foods that stimulate dopamine release create a feedback loop in the brain. Every time you eat these foods, dopamine is released, giving a sense of pleasure or reward. Over time, the brain starts to crave that dopamine hit, driving you to eat more, even when you're not hungry. Tolerance. As you consume more of these foods, the brain becomes less sensitive to dopamine, requiring you to eat more to achieve the same pleasurable effect. This leads to overeating and potential food addiction. 4. Lack of satiety. Many processed foods are low in fiber, water, and protein, the natural components that help signal fullness. Without these, the body doesn't recognize when it's full, so you keep eating without feeling satisfied. The high-calorie content in processed foods also overwhelms the body's natural energy regulation systems, leading to overconsumption before the brain signals to stop. 5. Convenience and availability. The convenience and constant availability of processed foods play a huge role in overeating. They are marketed as easy snacks and on-the-go solutions, making them hard to resist, especially when hunger hits. Being surrounded by tempting ads, colorful packaging, and easy access can trigger mindless eating, where you eat without realizing how much you've consumed. 6. Conditioned eating. Through repeated exposure to advertising and habitual snacking, people can become conditioned to associate certain activities or emotions with eating. For example, watching TV or being stressed might automatically trigger cravings for certain snacks, leading to overeating as a response to emotional or environmental cues. 7. Emotional and stress eating. Food companies tap into emotional triggers, making certain foods a go-to for comfort during stress or negative emotions. Eating sugary or fatty foods temporarily alleviates stress by releasing pleasure chemicals, creating a cycle of craving when emotions are heightened. This emotional eating can override natural hunger cues, leading people to eat for reasons other than hunger, which promotes binge-like behaviors. 8. Variety and sensory overload. Processed foods often come in a variety of flavors, textures, and colors, which can overwhelm the brain's sensory systems. This phenomenon, called sensory-specific satiety, means that while the brain gets tired of one flavor or texture, introducing new variations keeps it engaged and craving more. For example, a mix of sweet and salty snacks, like chocolate-covered pretzels, keeps your taste buds stimulated, making it harder to stop eating. 9. Portion distortion. Packaged foods and fast foods often come in larger portion sizes, distorting our perception of what a normal serving is. Larger portions trick the brain into thinking we need to eat more to feel satisfied, leading to overeating. The combination of high-calorie content and oversized portions can override the body's natural satiety signals. 10. Habit formation and food addiction. The combination of sensory stimulation, dopamine release, and repeated exposure creates habits. Some foods can lead to addiction-like behaviors, where individuals feel compelled to eat even when they know it's not healthy. Food addiction shares similar brain pathways as drug addiction, making it difficult to stop once these patterns are established. In summary, the engineered nature of processed foods, along with sensory manipulation and psychological reinforcement, triggers a strong craving and overeating response that is difficult to resist. This leads to a cycle of constant eating, often beyond hunger or nutritional need.